you've done so many different things in so many different fields at still a relatively young age. You're not even 50 yet, right?
Nope.
Yeah, and
Knock on
so
wood.
yeah, you'll get there. I'm sure you're really healthy. But the premise of Best Ever of this show is that there's this inextricable connection, between the way you manage yourself and the quality of your leadership outcomes, not just at work, but at home and in the broader community, however you define that. And I'm curious for you, you're a really thoughtful, intentional person. What are the characteristics that you're shooting for when you're in your unique version of peak performance mode?
Mm.
What's the short list for you, like when you're really in the zone?
Being well rested is super important to me. And I've been on both ends of that spectrum. So one of the things they do in Ranger School to try to induce the stress level you might have in a combat situation is to deprive you of both sleep and calories. And so over the course of anywhere from 60 to 100 plus days of Ranger School, you're averaging 3 hours of sleep a night. You can see in the other Rangers the extreme deterioration of performance, physical performance and mental performance, as you take away sleep, and you observe it in yourself. And, the takeaways are you can go a lot further than you think you can, and you can push a team much further than you think you can. But there are limits, and there are real detrimental effects to not being well rested. And that really hit home. That really hit home for me. And in my experience taking troops to Afghanistan and, in my early army career, I knew that like we would be at our best performance if we were well rested. So it is very rare for me to have a night without 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
That's the recommended minimum of 7 hours. Yeah.
Now there are times when you have to burn the proverbial midnight oil.
Mm-hmm.
Even in a crisis situation, I'll usually find a way to
go for 7. Yeah. So well rested. What else is, when you're in peak performance mode, what else?
Exercise is really important to me. So I exercise most days of the week. I'm just not in as good a mood if I'm not, if I don't get my exercise in. It's, it's a stress relief. It's another area where I, do some goal setting. I don't have as much of a social element to my exercise as I had when I was younger. So I miss that, being part of a team, nutrition, those, I guess those are some of the basics.
Yeah. Are there characteristics that you have found are representative of you? I mean, those are some routines that you do to put yourself in peak performance zone. What are there characteristics that best describe you when you're there? Have you thought about that?
Focused.
Mm-hmm.
Present. Creative. Long-sighted.
Long-sighted. I mean, taking the long view, kind of bigger picture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finding the right balance of give and take in a conversation or a group sort of collaborative session. I think when I'm not so well rested, I'm not at peak performance, I'm much less patient. And when I'm impatient and I want to get to the answer right away, and you sort of skip the solution discovery process, that can sort of like push away what might be an unexpected and good idea and better path forward. And also, it turns off your colleagues if you're dismissive, or you come in with all the answers and you put them in execution mode rather than partner mode.
Yeah, very good. Pretty consistent from arena to arena, work, home, community, in terms of focused and present and partnering mode and things you mentioned.
You started the question with like when you're at your peak.
Yeah.
Like everyone, I'm not always at my peak. I certainly, I struggle like a lot of people with being as present as I would like to be outside of a work setting. Putting the phone away, you shifting into that, home zone from the work
Yeah.
zone. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm working from home. I'm working remotely today. It's it takes more effort to like close the door to my office and put work aside. Particularly
Mhm.
I work for a company in California. So
Mhm.
my 9 p.m. Is the end of the workday in California.
Right. Right.